This tag is done from Valeria. She is the Spanglish Maestra. Sorry, my Spanish is not so great, so I'm sorry about that. There are so many teachers that are in this tag. There's pretty much one teacher for every grade level. So I'm doing the first grade one. If you're ready, let's get into the questions. Question number 1, describe your first grade classroom, if you remember. I actually don't really remember my first grade classroom. There are some things I do remember, like I don't remember how it was set up for the most part. I do know there was a lot of kids in my class. So I think I had 30 students in my first grade classroom. Because back then, you know, it wasn't a big deal to have small classrooms. Nobody cared. Like, they were just like, oh, let's just pack as many kids as I can in these classrooms. I went to school in California and there was a lot of kids and they packed them in. So I'm pretty sure I had between 28 to 30 students in my classroom. And there wasn't really, if I remember correctly, there wasn't really a lot of group desk arrangements. I think they were pretty much all straight lines, if I remember correctly. Or there might have been ones where you were like up against a partner and then you were in rows. So that's kind of remember my first grade classroom. I don't remember a lot of what it was decorated like or anything, but I do remember that there was a lot of kids in that small little classroom. Number 2, describe your first grade teacher. So I remember this teacher. Okay, for one thing, I had just moved to this new school because I went to kindergarten in a whole different school in a different town. I was in this whole new place, and so I remember the teacher. She was an older lady. I want to say probably late 60s, maybe not that old. Maybe early 60s, probably around there. She was up there, and I'm about certain that she was had been a former nun at a different school. But I remember, like I said, I'm 41 years old. Like, that was a long time ago. But I do remember, I'm pretty sure she was an old or an ex or a former or whatever. Like, she worked at maybe some kind of nunnery or something. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure she was a nun at one point. And I remember her because I used to get in trouble all the time for talking. Like, I was really bad with talking, which is probably why I have so many talkers in my classrooms, because I was a talker. And I had this girl that was in my class. Her name was Roberta. We called her Bobby. And she was like my girlfriend, I guess, you know, during those times. Like, we hung out all the time, her and I did. So we would get in trouble for talking. And the reason I remember this teacher is because one time I got in trouble so many times for talking, I guess, that she hit me over the hand with a ruler. And it wasn't like this way. She hit me this way with my hand on the ruler. So I went home, I was talking to my mom about it, and told her I got in trouble, and I told her what happened. She went down there and threw a fit and was so mad that this lady hit me with a ruler on my hand. But that's why I remember her, and I remember what she looked like. She was this old white lady with gray hair, and it was big and poofy. And yeah, I remember her, but I don't remember her name or anything. But I do remember, and I'm pretty sure she was a former nun. Question number 3, something I remember learning that year. I actually cannot even say what I remember learning, but I do remember that we were grouped by these books, and I remember that the books were like all this one kind of reading level that you were on. So you might have students, and so how do I want to describe it? The levels were all different. So like, you might be on a really low level that would be like a kindergarten level, or you could be up in these high levels that could be like 2nd or 3rd grade levels. And so I just remember being grouped into these books, and the books all had names like Barefoot Island, and I can't remember the one fish, 2 fish, or red fish, blue fish. I can't remember. I don't know. It was something with the fish. I remember that, but it wasn't like the Dr. Seuss thing. But it was like one potato, 2 potato, hot potato something. I think it was another one of them. I don't remember, but like they had all these little names that went along with them. And there was a whole reading series that was all based on whatever your level was. So we would go back into she had this huge horseshoe table, and we would go back and we would all sit there and read our books and whatever it was, or activities that we were supposed to be doing. But it wasn't like there was, in these other, at least in my classroom, I can't speak for everybody's, my groups are 4 or 5 students. That's it. No, these groups had 10 students. And so the table was huge. So you would have these students going all around the table. We were all doing these different activities. It was really bizarre. But I do remember that was it. And I remember I was on one of the lowest reading levels. And so, but everybody knew, even though they weren't supposed to know, but everybody didn't know you were on the lower reading level. It was like a big old mess. Something interesting or memorable that year. Okay, so it has to do with my school picture, which I posted over here. So for that school picture, I don't remember exactly when the school picture was taken. Let me see if it says on the back. It does not. I don't remember exactly when it was taken in the year, but it was probably, I don't know, maybe around October, November, somewhere around there. Well, my mom we had this dog, and it was a little Lhasa Apso, and the thing was so mean, and my mom loved that dog, and what was the dog's name? I don't remember the dog's name, but the dog was mean. And so, but I always wanted to play with the dog, so I'd give him the dog's face, and I was just a kid, I didn't know what I was doing. So I was up in the dog's face, and I'm doing whatever. Well, the dog got mad and bit me on my nose. So if you look in my picture, which I'll kind of show you up close this way, you can see those little dots. Those are not freckles. Those are old dog bite. So the dog bit me on my nose. I didn't get in the dog's face anymore though, so. But yeah, so I had that on my school pictures. I had these marks on my nose, it happened right before school pictures, of course. A few other things, I actually have more pictures I wanted to show you guys. And so I'm just going to kind of incorporate them through stories. Another thing I thought was so funny was that for Halloween, I wanted to be a devil. That was I just was like, I'm going to be a devil. That's totally not appropriate anymore for kids at school, but it was okay when I was a kid. It was 1982 or something. No, 83, maybe or somewhere around there. So it was acceptable to be a devil. So I was a devil. So as you can see in this picture, I was a devil. So that was another one of those ones I just remembered. That was just something so interesting about that. That was so weird that it wouldn't be okay now. Number 5, do I remember who any of my friends were? I don't, for the most part. I do remember the girl Bobby. That's the only one I really remember is Bobby. Well, okay, I take that back. Okay, so in my class, Bobby was the only one I remember. But I did have other friends that were not in my class. I had friends I lived with that lived near me, but I didn't have anybody in my class that I remember that I was really good friends with besides Bobby. And Bobby was a girl, and we were boyfriend and girlfriend. That's the quotation marks. I don't know. I don't remember. I remember that she was there for a couple of years and then she moved away, and then she ended up coming back when we were in high school. I think I was a junior or senior in high school when she ended up coming back to our town and went to school with us again, but it had been a really long time. Question number 6. As an educator, is there anything I do now that my first grade teacher did? I don't know. Small groups. That's about it. I don't know. The time was so much different back then because I learned by whole reading. We didn't have phonics. We had whole reading. So, and that's what those programs were all based off. Was based off of whole reading. So it was all these things where you learned words and whatever. And I read the Dick Jane books and everything. So now I don't. There's not a lot that I probably remember that I did as my first grade teacher does. I can't even. I don't remember, the sad thing is I don't remember anything exciting happening in those classrooms besides getting handed in the hand with a ruler. That's it. Number 7 is anything else you'd like to add about this grade level? So I've been teaching first grade for 10 years, or going on my 10th year right now. So it's really exciting to kind of see just within the 10 years how education has changed. And to think back to when I was a kid to now think back as I was a kid, whatever, about how education has changed from back then in 1983 to now in 2019. It's just so crazy to think how it's changed. It was more, we learned a lot, but it was there was a lot more recess. a lot more playtime. So, but at the same time, there was a lot of things that were different. So we didn't have as much of the collaboration, much as the group work that we have now, where kids are put with partners and you do partner work and you're doing group work and you're doing all these kind of things where kids are socializing that way. So it's, you know, it's just interesting to see the difference. But some of the pictures I wanted to share with you guys, because I did not get to share them with you guys. You might have saw them in a little bit of the intro. My birthday falls in August. So, and we started school in September and did not get out until almost June usually. Maybe it was June. It was like within the first week of June, I think, is how our school year used to go. It's not that way for me anymore. I start in August, usually around my birthday. This year here we're starting a little bit later, but toward the end of August, and then I don't get out until the end of May. So, but I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure that this was my birthday when I was going to be a first grader, just because I'm looking at a lot of the kids, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So just thought I would throw that in there, some little fun stuff for you guys. And then also this picture here that I'm throwing in right now is a picture of well, it was me and my sister. My sister went on a Girl Scout or a brownie. She was a brownie. She went on a brownie trip and got back really late that day. It was my mom and I had to go back to the school to go pick her up. And I just thought I was super cool with this propeller hat on that I'm wearing. So I just thought it was so cool. And so, but I just wanted to share some of that. But check out all the other teachers. I listed them all down below. There's also a playlist if you guys are interested in checking those out. Check all the other teachers out of each year that, you know, what it was like for them and the grade that they teach now. So check that out. Don't forget to like this video if you did, subscribe if you're not already. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to everybody for subscribing. Follow me on all my social media. That's also listed down toward the bottom of the description. And until next time, please don't forget to always be you. Bye.